Hello. Hi, I'm audible. Hello. Hello. Okay. Okay. So, good evening, everyone, and Jai Hind. Welcome back. Unfortunately, I want to take class yesterday, but yesterday I got some important work, which is very related to the placement activities. So, today, as I mentioned earlier, uh, I'm working to give you the best basic of each and everything. Like, for example, we are covering currently we are working on a basic language elements used in a Verilog. Okay, we started with the data types like with wire, and then data types like with the connectivity data types and storage data types. We have finished with the connectivity, that is start with the wire, try, and we have not covered try 0, try 1, because supply 0, supply 1, because these are the part of the sub advanced Verilog modules. But we are focusing more on data types, which is respect to your storage data types. Okay, so in storage, we have finished with the reg, we have finished with the integer. Okay, and today I'm planning to cover with the real and real-time data types. Okay, these two data types are generally used for, or I can say used for some different application. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, that I personally working on the synthesizable things. I don't use those syntax which don't produce any hardware. Okay, so these two data types, real and real-time data types, which I'm going to cover today, basically these are generally used for the simulation purpose, test bench purpose, and etc. etc. Okay, but as a Verilog user, you should know the application of these two data types. What is the purpose, why we are using these two, and where we are using these two. As a candidate, when you are going for the interview, you cannot say, sir, I don't know the these two data types, because this will give you the bad impact. Okay, so as a engineer, as a interviewer, as a interview candidate, you should reply in very positive way, and you should say, sir, as these things are not synthesizable, so generally I avoid this thing using this syntax. Okay, so in this way you can proceed. Okay, so now let me start with the PPT again. As I mentioned earlier also, and I'm mentioning, and I keep mentioning in my previous classes, that why we are why I am basically taking care of the this knowledge sharing with the help of PPT. Because in PPT I can put the definition, I can put the syntax, I can give you the some small example with some output, which is not easy every time in writing the code, because to understand these basic elements, language elements, the one line syntax is important. Okay, or 2 to 4 line code is important to understand. Okay, and if I'll go for writing the big code for every purpose, then definitely it will take too much time. But yes, we will cover the code in a behavior modeling. We will take care of each and every code in a behavior modeling or in a operators. Okay, we are not going to discuss the operators in a PPT. We are going to discuss the operators. We will perform each and every operation. We perform each and every operation, and okay, we will perform each and every operation on a tool. Okay, so let's start uh, with the real and real-time data types. I hope this is visible to everyone. Yeah. If you one more thing I want to express here that whenever you are doing the online training, okay, don't do the online training on mobile, because if you do the online training on mobile, there are a lot of notification is there which might be disturb you. Okay, so whenever you are working on any type of online classes, please try to do it on laptop. Okay, please don't do it on a mobile, because this mobile will give you the distraction. If small notification is open, if you click on the notification, it will definitely kill your 1 to 2 minutes, and in that time you will lose the momentum. Okay, second thing is that in mobile you are getting very small display. Okay, so in a system, if you are working on the system with a real time, like with the real time data, definitely you have a better view. Okay, so now let's start. Okay, real. So as I mentioned that I will go line by line so that I can explain you, and this also help you to read the some line which help you to make some useful sense. Okay, why? Because when I am going through the PPT and when I'm explaining you something, at the same time you are reading it, and at least you will gain something. Okay, you will, like, you can connect it with your knowledge, with your understanding, with the PPT lines. Okay, so real. The accurate modeling of delay values might require the use of real data types. Okay, now in Verilog, it is required in Verilog whenever you are doing any type of simulation. Okay, there basically you might be get data in a form of point. Okay, in a, or I can say in a form of delay. Okay, now that delay is not always a of whole number. Okay, that delay may be a in a point wise, like 4.123. Okay, so this is the delay value you are getting. Now the question is, integer is not taking care of the 4.123. Okay, and reg is not taking care of a 4.123, because they both truncate the data. Okay, so in that sense, what is the real variable, which, or what is the variable we are going to use it? So in that case, we are going to use the real. So for any delay type calculation, any delay type simulation where you are getting the data in fraction, okay, where you are getting data in floating point, sorry, in floating point or in fraction, okay, you have to use the real variables. Okay, the real objects are stored in double precision, that is 0.12, okay, 3.12. Okay, typically a 64-bit value, a real value can be specified in decimal and exponential notation. Okay, decimal means data before the dot, that is 4, 5, 6, and exponential means 0.123786, वगैरह वगैरह. Okay, an object of type real may not be connected to a port or terminal of a primitives. A real numbers. Okay, now these real numbers, the storage is basically, it is not part of any input and output. Okay, it is part of the some simulation. Okay, these real things which are not connected to any input gate or input output. If you just recall it, the reg are connecting with the output, wire is connecting with the input. Okay, so in that case also, this real is actually not connected with the any input and output. Okay, it is something intermediate signal which help you to in calculating the delay. Okay, so in this way you can understand. See, it is clearly mentioned here, an object of the type real may not be connected to a port or terminal of any primitives. Real numbers cannot have range declaration, and their default value is 0. Okay, this we are going to, actually this is just a summary. Okay, this is just a summary. So here the real numbers cannot have a range, मतलब real values को हम लोग vector में, okay, वेक्टर में नहीं डिक्लेयर कर सकते हैं और इसकी जो इनिशियलाइज वैल्यू होती है वो 0 होती है। ओके, सो अब हम इसको डिटेल में देखते हैं क्या है इसका पर्पस। ओके, लाइक सिंटेक्स, how it is used, where it is used, right? Okay, now real data types in Verilog. Okay, again, what is data type? Data types which store some information in. Okay, now storing the information in two ways. One is connectivity, and one is in form of storage. Okay, so the real data type in Verilog is used to store floating point numbers. What is floating point? Number with decimal point. Okay, it is mainly used in mathematical calculation, analog value representation, delay calculation, test bench, and simulation model. So ultimately, it is used for the simulation purpose only. Okay, anything? ये मैं फिर से बता दे रहा हूँ. Okay, the real data types. The real data types in Verilog is used to store the floating point. ओके okay, कुछ भी जो फ्लोटिंग पॉइंट के साथ चल रहा हो, ठीक है, जैसे कि 4.12. ओके, राइट, इंटीजर इसको ही देखेगा, राइट, बट रियल इसको देखेगा. ओके, सो रियल डेटा टाइप इज वेरी यूज टू स्टोर फ्लोटिंग पॉइंट numbers with decimal points. Okay, it is mainly used for anything if you are doing something like 5.12 into 3.5, any calculation like this. Okay, any analog representation like this, data like this, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, something like this. Okay, delay calculation. Okay, you know that a hash delay is used for 3.12. For example, you want to give a delay of with some floating point numbers, you can use the real. Okay, test benches and simulation model. Okay, so basically this is the just the usage of a real data types. Okay, example, very simple example. What is syntax? This is a syntax. Okay, okay, this is your syntax, and this is your username, variable name. Okay, this is how you are writing it. For example, real pi. Okay, okay, we'll take later on. Okay, now features of real data types, that it store the floating point the values. Floating point value means something like 4.36. Okay, sign, yes. Okay, yes, it's operate with both plus and minus. Okay, decimal number supported, yes, like 0.36. Okay, sensitizable, no, because you cannot generate the hardware of this 0.36. Okay, mainly used for simulation. So all these are the interview question. Okay, if someone is, or if you want to check the level of your friends or of your juniors or anyone, you want to check the level, check, you can ask the question in this way only. Okay, is real data type is sensitizable or not? Okay, next, one example. This is a basic example of how the real variable is used. Module, real example, real pi, initial. Okay. Okay. So this is your syntax. This is your username, and you have assigned the value of pi 3.14 using the display syntax, and then this is your output. Very simple. Okay. If you are calling here integer, तो ये नहीं आएगा. Okay, but if you are calling just the real values, that is why you are getting 3.14. Okay, next, this is a, okay, fraction. Okay, just one example, you can take example of the fraction, or you can take example of mathematics. Okay, simple, a plus b, real ABC. You have defined three real variables. You have defined three real variables, a with 10.5, b with 2.5, and let's see what is the output. Okay, so this is your display. So C is equal to 13.0. Okay, just you are adding it 10.5 plus 2.5, 0, 3, 1, 13.0. Okay, okay, again, real support arithmetic operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay, just simple example. Right, you have defined a three variable. Again, ये मैं बस आपको डिफरेंट डिफरेंट पीपीटीज के अंदर दिखाने की कोशिश ये करना है कि कैसे बेसिक वेरी रियल कैसे बेसिकली यूज करते हैं, कैसे दिखता है, कैसे कॉल होता है। ओके, जब मैं पढ़ रहा हूं तो मुझे क्या प्रॉब्लम आएगी, मुझे ये प्रॉब्लम आएगी अगर मुझे एक लाइन में एक पैराग्राफ में मुझे ये नहीं समझ में आया तो मैं क्या करूंगा, मैं अलग अलग जाके एनालाइज करूंगा। तो यही काम मैंने आपके लिए किया है। ओके, कि रियल डेटा डेटा टाइप जो है, ओके, वो कैसे बेसिकली दिखेगा, कैसे कॉल होगा, कैसे एग्जीक्यूट होगा। ओके, तो अगर आपको 8-10 स्लाइड में बार बार आपको रियल के बारे में पता चल जाएगा तो वो आप उससे फैमिलियर हो जाओगे और आप बाहर जाके आप उसको रिवाइज कर सकते हो। ओके, so this is again an example of arithmetic that we have defined three variable a b c, a 5.5, b 2.5, and this is a multiplication. So the value of real multiplication is stored in c. Okay, value of real multiplication store is c. So 5.5 into 2.0, 11.0. Very simple. Okay, so अगर आपको कुछ इस तरह की वैल्यूज को कॉल करना है, इस तरह की वैल्यूज को स्टोर कराना है, ओके, तो आपको रियल में इसको कॉल करना पड़ेगा। ओके, रियल डिफॉल्ट वैल्यूज इफ नॉट इनिशियलाइज, अगर रियल वैल्यूज इनिशियलाइज नहीं होती है तो उसकी वैल्यू क्या होती है, एक्स। Okay, somewhere it is written 0, but actually it is starting में when you are going with the simulation, you will find that it is x. Okay, so during the simulation, basically it's showing the x. Okay, if it is not defined. Okay, you how you can make an example of this? अगर मैं एक स्लाइड पीछे जाता हूँ, ओके, यहाँ पे for example, I will take one more variable d. Okay, and if I am not initializing d here, okay, then the output of d is basically will show x. They will basically show the x. Okay, so I am taking one more variable d, and I am not initializing. I am not giving any value here, or I am not performing any logic here with respect to the real value, real data type d. Then by default the output is x. Okay, तो ये सब चीजें पता होनी चाहिए when you are basically performing the Verilog operation. Okay, and default value becomes 0. Okay, this one, real number format. Real numbers can be written as decimal, scientific notation, and negative reals. Okay, so basically it is showing here that how the real is how the real value is called with a in form of decimal, in form of scientific notation, or in form of negative values. Okay, so in this way basically you you are calling the real data types. Okay, okay, this is one of the example. Okay, one of the example with the scientific notation, 2 to power 0.5 e to power 3. Okay, this is your output. Real comparison, yes, real numbers can also be compared with the help of the relational operators. So this is your one of the relational operators. Okay, this is you can say that this is either a comparison or relational operator. So जैसा कि हमने इंटीजर में भी किया था, similarly we can do the comparison here. So a is 3.5, b is 2.1. If a is greater than b, yes, true. ठीक है, a is greater than b, true. Yeah, you can see here. This is your output. Okay. Again, real values cannot be used as a vector. Okay. Real values cannot be used as a vector, like 3 down to 0 or 0 to 3. Okay. It cannot be used as a bit select or part select, both. Okay. Because because it is not used like a vector. Okay. Because it already have a some range, right? Again, real cannot be stored as x, z. Unlike the real variables, complex variable cannot be represent x or z. They only store numeric floating point. Okay, basically, real cannot store x and z. That means that it is not used as a or as a somehow as a uses of your reg. Okay, because they only store the numeric point like 3.5, 3.6, 3.7. ओके, सो थोड़ा सा ये समझने का फेर है बेसिकली। बहुत डिटेल में तो मुझे भी नहीं पता है, राइट? क्योंकि हम लोग बहुत ही कम यूज करते हैं। ओके, जस्ट जस्ट फॉर योर इंफॉर्मेशन, अगर आप कुछ एक्सप्लोर कर सकते हो तो यू कैन एक्सप्लोर इट फ्रॉम योर ओन। Okay, so real is mostly not synthesizable. Real data types is generally used only for simulation. ठीक है, not converted into the hardware. That is 0.5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 8. How you will convert it into the hardware? This is a question. Okay, not converted into the hardware, and because hardware works with binary bits, not floating point. Okay, क्योंकि जो हार्डवेयर आप बनाते हो वो बेसिकली 0 and 1 के फॉर्म में आता है and not with a floating point. So that is the reason. Okay. Right. One of the example. Okay, real versus integer. Okay, so real versus integer. So what basically real do? Decimal values, yes. Integer, no. Sign, yes. Integer also take care of sign. Floating point, yes. Integer say no. Synthesizable, real, no. Integer is limited. And main use, दोनों का use क्या हो सकता है? Summation purpose. Okay, so this will give you the clarity. This comparison will give you the real clarity. Okay, I have given you the point. Okay, you can explore these points while writing the code. Okay, or while performing the or while you can go and check this information in a book. Okay, like sometime I confused decimal value. Okay, according to me the decimal value is 0 to 9. Okay, so anything which is started between 0 to 9 is called decimal values. Okay, so why integer is saying no here? Because integer is always take from negative to positive. Okay, that is point minus 24768 something to plus 24768. Okay, that is why it is saying no here, according to me. Okay, according to me, maybe you have a better understanding or you can get a better understanding in this. Okay, so but real is basically real is don't have any range. Okay, real don't have any range. Real is always in decimal form. That is always in 3, 4, 5, 6 between 0 to 9. And that is the reason this is why this is real is S. Okay, real हमेशा 0 से 9 के बीच में डेटा स्टोर करेगा विथ पॉइंट वाइज, बट जो इंटीजर है वो -214 से लेकर उसका अपना एक स्पेसिफिक रेंज है, माइनस समथिंग से लेकर प्लस समथिंग तक, तो वो दोनों में फॉलो करता है. ओके, दैट इज वाई इट इज सेइंग यस हियर एंड इट इज सेइंग नो हियर. ओके, राइट. साइन यस, दोनों में मैंने अभी आपको दिखाया था साइन माइनस भी हो सकता है, -1.25, -1.25. So I am talking about that minus. So this minus is also used with the integer, that is -214. Okay, or -9, -8. Okay, floating point always support with real, it not support with integer. Synthesizable, no, you cannot think about the hardware in a floating point. Okay, integer gives some hardware if you are using the for loop. Okay, and mainly used for simulation purpose. Okay, okay. One of the example is how to convert the integer, that is from real to integer. Okay, one of the example from real to integer just for your learning purpose. This is here, real is identified as a, integer is identified as b. Okay, so a की वैल्यू क्या है 5.75, b की वैल्यू क्या है a. Okay, so now you see here, if b, actually you are giving the b to a. Okay, इंटीजर क्या है b में, इंटीजर b किस में डिफाइन है, इंटीजर में, b किस में डिफाइन है, इंटीजर में. तो एज यू नो कि इंटीजर फ्रैक्शन तो लेता नहीं है, सॉरी फ्लोटिंग तो लेता नहीं है, 0.25 तो लेगा नहीं, ठीक है, कुछ भी नहीं लेगा, तो वो ऑटोमेटिकली ट्रंकेट हो जाएगा. दैट इज वाई द आउटपुट इज 5 हियर. ओके, summary of real data types, that it store floating point number, yes correct, decimal support, yes correct. Okay, 0 to 100, xz support, no, ठीक है, synthesizable, no, use in test bench, yes, support arithmetic, yes, and support for scientific notation, yes. So this is the basic summary of your real data types. Okay, now real time, one is real time, very confusing. It also confused me sometime when I was reading. Okay, how this real and real time. Okay, so if I give you the better understanding, real and real time में क्या है difference कि basically मैं आपको ऐसे समझाता हूँ कि अगर आपने कोई लॉजिक बना के कुछ कैलकुलेट करना है, ठीक है, फॉर एग्जांपल डिले है, या फॉर एग्जांपल कुछ भी मैथमेटिक्स ऑपरेशन है. ओके, सो वो रियल के फॉर्म में वो रियल डेटा टाइप्स की तरह कॉल होगा, राइट. लेकिन अगर आपको टाइमिंग सिमुलेशन में काम करना है, टाइमिंग सिमुलेशन के बारे में अंडरस्टैंडिंग लेनी है, लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल कि सिमुलेशन जो है, आपको जो सिमुलेशन का जो वेव फॉर्म है, अगर आपको उसके रेस्पेक्ट में कुछ काम करना है, ठीक है, एक चीज आप ध्यान से सुनना, दिस इज आई एम एक्सप्लेनिंग इन हिंदी. ओके, क्योंकि मुझे भी थोड़ा सा टफ होता है किसी चीज को एक्सप्लेन करने में, बिकॉज समटाइम आई डोंट गेट अ वर्ड इन इंग्लिश. Okay, and I know that we have a maximum user from all over the India, and as well as some are from the Asia Pac. Okay, so real is used for calculation. Okay, real is used for mathematical calculation. Real is used for arithmetic calculation. Real is used for any addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Because fraction क्या होता है, you know that 2 divided by 5, sorry, 2 to power 1 by 2. So when you divide this, you are getting the some values in terms of fraction, right, in terms of floating point. Okay, 0.56789. अगर आपको इस तरह की वैल्यू को सपोर्ट करना है, if you want to support the 56789, okay, you want to retain in your coding, you want to retain in the coding, then in that case real is a data types which is used. Okay, राइट, बट अगर अब आपको कुछ ऐसा कैलकुलेट करना है कि आपको अब टाइमिंग जो वेवफॉर्म्स है, उस वेवफॉर्म्स पे आपको बेसिकली कुछ ओवरलुक करना है, तो उसके लिए आपको रियल टाइम डेटा टाइप्स यूज होगा. ओके, सो लेट्स गो थ्रू इट, लेट्स सी. आई एम ऑल्सो नॉट श्योर दैट हाउ आई कैन help you to understand, but again, just go to different blocks, different PPT and try to understand, because ultimately these are the syntax, these are the some basic elements which you need to understand when you are planning to enter in a verification domain. Okay, if you are planning to enter in the RTL domain, yes, it is not give you the major impact. But if you are planning to enter in a verification domain, it will give you the then in that case this thing will help you a lot. Okay, so let's take an example of the real time data types. The data types टाइम सपोर्ट. ठीक है, मैंने क्या बोला? टाइम सपोर्ट. ओके, रियल टाइम टाइम सपोर्ट. ओके, दैट इज जो आपका वेव फॉर्म होता है. ओके, द टाइम सपोर्ट टाइम रिलेटेड कंप्यूटेशन, टाइम सपोर्ट एंड टाइम रिलेटेड कंप्यूटेशन विद इन अ प्रोसीजरल कोड. ओके, प्रोसीजर मीन्स बिहेवियर मॉडलिंग. ओके, टाइम वेरिएबल्स आर स्टोर्ड एज अनसाइंड 64-bit क्वांटिटीज. ओके, टाइम वेरिएबल्स जो होगा वो हमेशा पॉजिटिव क्वाड्रेंट पे होगा और हमेशा अनसाइन होगा. ओके, मतलब जो भी आपका सिमुलेशन चल रहा है, जो भी आपका सिमुलेशन वेव फॉर्म चल रहा है, वो हमेशा अनसाइन होगा, वो नेगेटिव नहीं होगा. ओके, एज द वेरिएबल ऑफ टाइप टाइम मे बी यूज्ड इन अ मॉड्यूल पोर्ट, नॉर मे इट बी एन इनपुट और आउटपुट ऑफ प्रिमिटिव्स. ओके, अगेन अ वेरिएबल ऑफ टाइम, ठीक है, मे नॉट बी यूज इन अ मॉड्यूल पोर्ट. जैसे कि अभी मैं आपको, आपने कभी देखा होगा टिक टाइम स्केल 1 नैनोसेकेंड इक्वल टू 1 पिकोसेकेंड. ओके, सो बेसिकली ये आप देखते होंगे, ये जनरली यू आर नॉट यूजिंग दिस इनसाइड द मॉड्यूल. ओके, अभी आप देखोगे आगे जाकर जनरली यू आर नॉट यूजिंग दिस पर्टिकुलर सिंटेक्स इन योर मॉड्यूल. ओके, आप इसको अपने मॉड्यूल में नहीं यूज करते हो, राइट? सो वेरिएबल ऑफ टाइम may not be used in a module port, nor may it be connected to any input and output. ठीक है, और ये ना ही कोई इनपुट एंड आउटपुट के साथ मिलकर कोई लॉजिक बनाता है. ओके, इट इज जनरली यूज फॉर द कंप्यूटेशन पर्पस. ओके, द रियल टाइम स्टोर्स टाइम वैल्यूज इन अ रियल नंबर फॉर्मेट. द सिस्टम फंक्शन दैट द डॉलर टाइम इज इन्वोक्ड टू गेट द करंट सिमुलेशन टाइम. ठीक है, तो अभी यहां पर आ गया, एंट्री हो गई आपकी कंपाइलर डायरेक्टिव्स की, सिस्टम टास्क की. ओके, सो इस स्लाइड से आपको पर्पस सॉल्व हो रहा है कि जो रियल टाइम डेटा टाइप्स है, दैट इज फॉर हैविंग द डिफरेंट पर्पस, बट नॉट एग्जैक्टली with some logic, that is exactly used with to compute. Okay, to get the some real time data type, to get the some real time output. ओके, मैं ऐसे बोल सकता हूँ कि कुछ रियल टाइम मुझे आउटपुट चेक करना है, तो उसके लिए अगर मैं ये वेरिएबल को कॉल करता हूं तो मुझे बेनिफिट होगा. देखते हैं, लेट्स सी, न्यू टू अस, लेट्स सी. ओके, द रियल टाइम डेटा टाइप्स इन वेरिलॉग इज यूज्ड टू स्टोर रियल वैल्यूड सिमुलेशन टाइम. देखो मैंने बोला था ना, रियल वैल्यूड सिमुलेशन टाइम. बेसिकली इट इज, एज आई मेंशन दैट, कि ये जो रियल टाइम डेटा टाइप्स है, दैट इज द मेन पर्पस इज टू कवर द वैल्यूज यूज्ड इन सिमुलेशन इन वेव फॉर्म्स. ओके, इट इज सिमिलर टू द रियल डेटा टाइप्स बट मेनली इंटेंट फॉर प्रिसाइज डिले कैलकुलेशन, सिमुलेशन टाइमिंग मेजरमेंट एंड फ्रैक्शनल टाइम वैल्यू. सो मेजरली इसके लिए यूज होता है, मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, सिमुलेशन टाइमिंग मेजरमेंट. ओके, सिंटेक्स क्या है? ये सिंटेक्स है अगर इसको यूज करना है तो, रियल टाइम. ठीक है, आई हैव नेवर यूज्ड एंड आई हैव नेवर सीन एनी डिजाइनर फ्रॉम आरटीएल बैकग्राउंड यूजिंग दिस. ओके, so feature of real time is store real value times. Data types is always floating point. Okay, support fraction, yes. Main usage simulation timing. Synthesizable, no. Again, I help you to understand more in terms of different parameters or different features. Okay, like in terms of synthesis, in terms of simulation, in terms of floating point, in terms of many things, etc., etc. Okay, the difference between a time and real time. So let's see. Storage integer time. Okay, so yes, how? The question is how. Integer time, store fraction time, no. Data types, 64-bit range, real floating points. Okay, and precision is integer only and decimal precision. Okay, so the first one which we have basically, let me check. I have real time and real time. Okay, maybe it's real or real time. Real. Something I need to check. Maybe this is between a. I need to check because uh, there is a time. There is actually a real and real time. It should be real and real time, or maybe I have to just a minute. Real or real time. This is actually your real comparison. Okay, I will check that slide that how it is showing with the time and real time. Okay, so basically there might be any time variable also. I don't know. I will check. Okay, so it is showing that time is store the integer type. Yes, real time is not taking care of it. Store fractional value. No, basically real value will take the fractional value that is in point. Okay, data types. Yes, 64-bit. It is in floating point also. That is point also, and precision to integer only. That is no no output or store anything form of point or decimal, but it also store the value in form of decimal. Okay, so I will check this time variable. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, so one basic real time variable example. So if t is 10.5, see here, this is your this is your syntax, this is your variable, initial begin t 10.5. Okay, and this is your display syntax. Okay, so output is 10.5. Output is 10.5. Okay, here one more example. This is an example of time scale. Okay, so basically it will show the your current time in a simulation waveform. Okay, so one tick. This is called tick. Tick time scale 1 nanosecond upon 1 picosecond. Okay, so the module real time scale real time t begin 2.75 hash t. So basically it will display the real output, the like real value in a waveform. Okay, okay. Real time can store a fractional value. Yes, I mentioned here it store the fractional values that is in. Okay, the real time with the default value if not initialized. Okay, so default value is 0 if it is not initialized. Real time used or support addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay, one of the example is one of the example. Okay, like for example, your initial begin. You have a three variable here. See, three variable A B C. Then A key value 5.5, B key value 2.0. You are adding it and making it 7.5. Okay, it's very much somehow it is similar to the real also. Okay, real time is non-synthesizable. Yes, correct. So exit only during simulation cannot become an actual hardware used mainly in test bench, timing analysis, and delay modeling. Okay, so you need to understand these points because these points actually you will not get in specific to book also. Okay, you have to find out and you have to make a notes. So purpose difference between a real and real time is main purpose for any floating point application. for any time values, that is with respect to the simulation. Use delay, yes. Simulation timing, this is 100% for simulation. This is for limited. And synthesizable, no. Both are not synthesizable. Okay. Important notes, real time is affected by time scale and simulator precision, mostly used in high precision simulation. And summary is now the summary is of real time is stores like a real value time. Fractional delay support, yes. Based on floating point. Use in timing, yes. Synthesizable, no. And work with real time dollar, yes. Okay. So this is what today. Now the few more data that language element is pending, like vector. Okay, is and few more. Okay, one is vector and array. Okay, so that also I will take care of it. Vector and array, because real and real time generally we don't use. Okay, if we are writing a synthesizable code, but when we are writing a synthesizable code, we should use mainly reg. Okay, integer for some calculation purpose, and like for loop application, and then vector is also one of the language element, and then array. So array is basically a one dimensional, two dimensional, three dimensional also. So in some language, two dimensional is also supported, some language three dimensional is also supported. But in Verilog only one dimensional is supported. Okay, so we will take care of it. You don't need to worry. And I think from vector onward, we will start writing the code also. Okay, so this is all from my side. As I mentioned, we are working very hard to get you the very detailed information so that you should crack the interview. You should have a better understanding of each and everything. Okay, we are not running very fast. We are just covering everything in very detail so that uh, whenever you are going for any interview, you just open this video and you just recall it. Okay, so this is all from my side. Thank you very much. All the best and Jai Hind.